Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Tom Lewis with Emergency Reporting, and thank you for joining us for our fourth episode of our summer boot camp for 2020. Today's topic is a look into fire department data, and we'll get to the objective here in just a minute. But again, I want to welcome all of you for taking time out of your busy schedules to join us. Let me make sure we got good audio, good video. I think we are ready. So those of you that may be the first time joining us this summer, we're gonna do these a little bit shorter, right? We're gonna go, 25, 30 minutes max with questions, maybe a little bit longer because I want to make sure we answer all your questions. But the goal is to be shorter, sweeter, and stronger, so you guys can have some of your day back to get things done that you need to get done. And we've got some good feedback on it thus far. However, we have had some feedback that people like the hour format because there's more information in it. So kind of let us know what you think, the shorter and sweeter, or if we want to still go back to our hour. But before we do that, and before we get started into today's presentation, I've got a few poll questions for you that I want to share, especially relevant to today's topic. But those of you that have joined me before, I always like to ask this question. So what type of agency do you work for? Are you guys career, volunteer combo, or federal or DoD? And I know those of you that have been on before are going like, I always answer this, but we like to collect it for every webinar that we do. So I appreciate if you guys would vote here, and then we've got a few more questions. We like to engage you guys. Let's see who we got on today. A quick shout out. Hey, Ruth down in Louisville, Texas. Glad to see you on another one of these webinars. So thanks for being here. All right, going to close the poll. Almost everybody's voted, yeah? 3, 2, 1, closing. All right, 50-50 today between career and combo. Nice. All right, next up. And this is helpful, and this will determine some of the other aspects of what we go over today too. So are you interested in joining the ER family, or are you already a customer? Right on, you guys are rocking on this one. Oh wow, this is a good one today. So let's going to close the poll in 3, 2, 1. So I will have to say this may be the closest to 50-50 we've ever gotten. Usually it's about 10 to 20%. And so 40% of you are interested in joining the emergency reporting family. So I will give a brief overview about who we are today and then show you some of the goal today. Well, let's go right into it. I'm going to skip a slide real quick. Okay, whoops. Where's my objective? Here we go. We're going to go to the objective real quick. So how can I learn more about the reports and business intelligence tools to extract meaningful and actionable data out of emergency reporting? That's our topic today. All right, and so we're going to go over that. I'm also going to give those of you that are not customers a brief overview about who we are. Again, just a quick summary so you can kind of get a feel of what kind of company we are and what we have to offer. But I got 2 more questions for you. For those of you that are emergency reporting customers, I have this question. Have you explored BI Basic in the Analytics module? In other words, that's our new data visualization tool. Yes, you love it. No, I've been too busy. Or wait, ER has business intelligence? I did not know that. Okay, you guys are awesome. All right, and again, I'm going to wait just a couple more seconds and closing the poll in 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Okay, this is good news that you guys are aware that we have it. We had put out a lot of information about it, both in our Update ER newsletter, on our website, on our YouTube channel. So this is good to know that you've had a chance to explore it, and we'll have a chance for some conversation on it today through the chat. And those of you that have been too busy, completely understand. When you get a chance, just kind of take a peek in there, especially for your account, and see what it's showing. I think you'll find some really interesting information, and happy to hear that you all knew that we had it, those of you that are customers. Last question. Okay, and this goes, and I want all of you to answer it, even if you aren't a current customer. So what is your greatest need when it comes to pulling data out of emergency reporting? Or those of you that are not emergency reporting customers, think of your current RMS, and what do you need, right? More system reports in our reports module, more BI tools and data visualization, so BI Basic, ad hoc reporting, something else. And if it is something else, just respond via the questions section of your GoToWebinar control panel. All right, got a little more than half of you voted. Take a look if you're multitasking. Get a couple more votes in there. Nice. Closing on 3, 2, 1. Anybody else? Okay, this is excellent. All right, I like this. All right, so we got these. So more system reports. And so those of you that said more system reports, go ahead and type in as a question what kind of reports you're needing. And this we can communicate back to our data team, our reports and BI team. And then more BI tools and data visualization, and then ad hoc reporting. And I imagine those of you that said ad hoc reporting, you know what it is. In case those of you that don't know what ad hoc reporting is, I don't want to insult your knowledge right now, but in case you don't, all that means is the ability to create your own reports, pull data out of the system the way you want, when you want, and how you want. And so we know that's a popular ask, and it is coming. Okay, awesome, guys. Thanks for participating in these poll questions. They are very, very helpful. And please take a minute or two to type in, what kind of reports that you need, okay, and what you're kind of looking for, because this is directly shared with our team. All right, so that's me. Spent 22 years in the fire service here in Southern Arizona, and currently a business development analyst with emergency reporting. I've been using the system since 2004. Came on as a trainer and then international trainer, first domestic United States and then international. And here I am with you today. So very happy to be here. Now, we were going to have 2 other people join us, but believe it or not, one of them had a family emergency. The other is in a class because he has kind of a new role in the organization. But I want to give them credit because these are the people that are what we call our product owners and scrum masters that are managing the team, the development team that is enhancing and continuing to refine and build our analytics tools. So this is Kevin Clausen. He's a product owner for reports and business intelligence. And he spent a lot of time as a regional sales manager and 10 years of profit and loss management. And then he's been with us now for 17 months. And reporting is spelled wrong. I apologize for that. But he's doing a killer job with moving the BI team forward and getting those BI tools that I will show you here shortly out to you, the customer, and then taking a lot of feedback from our customers and enhancing it. So a lot of props to Kevin on his work. It's not an easy job. And then Brittany, who I've worked with for a long time when I was a trainer and she was in support, she's a Scrum Master and she has been working in our reports module, and she's got some slides in this deck that I'll show you as we proceed, but she's been 10 years in the customer service industry, 6 with us. She was first in implementation and support and now in products, and so she just does a great job. We connect very well as far as bridging that communications gap from the fire side of what their needs are to her technical expertise and communicating that to her team. So a shout out to both of them. They both wish they could be here, but thankfully we have some information that they put into our slide deck here. Those of you that are new to emergency reporting, quickly here, we follow the agile software development process. In other words, we do a release at least every 2 weeks, sometimes more frequently, depending on the need for hot fixes, depending on the need that comes down through our customers and any issues with the system. And we're looking to even do that more frequently, and how they're going to do it is amazing, the development teams and what they can do. But we know that software is never finished. So all of us in the fire service, we're used to running calls, taking care of Mrs. Smith, putting out the fire, and coming back, getting our report done, and then training, waiting for our next call, doing station duties. Well, software is ongoing. If you've noticed on your phones, you're always getting app updates. Well, our system, you're always using the latest version when you log in because it's software as a service, 100% cloud-based. And so there's never any downtime when it comes to updates, and you don't have to worry about installing updates. But you'll notice you'll probably get frequent updates for your apps or even your desktop machine for different apps. And if you notice the recurring pattern that a lot of times it's every week or every 2 weeks, those companies are probably using the agile software development process as well. Our uptime is easily 99.9% of the time. And I can show you at time permitting today, but if you go into our community center, our customer success center in the community, there is a support button or a system status button up at the top. And if you click it, you'll see the status of our current system and where everything's at. And it's pretty neat if you like to geek out a little bit and see what's going on. If you've ever been to some of those sites that show when sites are down, it's similar to that, but you'll see we've been at 4 nines recently, so 99.99%. So very, very great reliability with the system. US-based support, you'll always get somebody in the Bellingham, Washington office, our support team there. Of course, we're all working from home now, but you will connect with somebody who knows the system and is United States based. We're also very, very strong in supporting agency compliance. You can see that's one of our pillars on the right there for many standards that you have to adhere to. ISO, accreditation, NFPA, any local standards that you might have, state and federal, and the system is so configurable in many of the modules that it allows you to not only document and get data in very easily, but pull out trustworthy information. So when you are being audited or going for accreditation, we try to take away some of that pain and all of the work that goes into those various processes and adhering to those standards. And we're pleased to be the sole provider of fire emergency services records management to both the United States Marine Corps and the United States Army. And that contract continues, and we're very proud to be able to serve those that serve others. So right now, and I know we're up on this, we're well over 7,000 departments, 37 million, pushing 37 million reports filed. And then since our inception, we've had nearly over 750,000 people in our system, and right now there's probably about 500,000 active at the moment. So we continue to grow. This is about a month old, and so we'll be updating it soon, and I expect it to probably be pushing 7,200 departments or more. So we're continuing to grow on a very regular basis, even through this this pandemic and all of the challenges being faced by agencies around the states. Okay, back to our objective. Again, this is what we're going to focus on. Learning more about the reports and business intelligence tools to extract meaningful data, meaningful and actionable data out of ER. And when I talk about meaningful and actionable, I want you to think of a couple things here. That the data that you get is something you can make decisions based on, that you can trust and make decisions on. So for example, your fleet. We've got a report in the system that will track how much you're spending on any given piece of equipment or apparatus. And so instead of just knowing that this truck is giving us problems, it's always in the shop, we're always having issues, you'll be able to back that up with some hard, cold facts. And then meaningful, think of meaningful for your audience, all right? And for you that can work with data, you probably don't need it groomed or polished up as much because you can understand it and analyze it. But think of your decision makers, whether it's a city council, fire district board, or volunteer board that have to control the purse strings. How are you able to communicate that to them so that they understand it without having to wade through a ream of paper to analyze it? And that's part of what we try to solve in our system too. So those of us that like to get into the data, we can do that, but then you also have to be able to present it in a way that's meaningful to your audience, whoever that might be. And so I know many of our customers, the Marine Corps included, they have an incredible annual report that they put together, and they're pulling all of that from all of the agencies or all of the departments throughout the world that use emergency reporting for the Marine Corps Fire and Emergency Services. Okay, so why data, right? Why is this important? I'm just going to mention a couple standards here that I would refer you to kind of dive into. And you know that I like to reference some NFPA standards during these webinars because I think it's important to note that we're trying to adhere the best we can to these standards, as well as to be able to help you adhere to them and make your jobs easier. And thankfully, you can view these for free on the NFPA website. Chances are your agency has a subscription, so you're able to probably pull down the full PDF or the hard copy, study it, and apply it to your organization. And whenever you're in charge of a new project, whether it's fleet, whether it's data management, chances are there's an NFPA standard for it that will help guide you and make your life a little bit easier. And so here's just an excerpt from NFPA 950, the standard for data development and exchange for the fire service. Not a long standard, but it's got some really great information. And I just pulled one of the sections out on analytical software since that's our topic for today. Software intended for the management of analytical and decision support shall provide the authority having jurisdiction with a clear and unambiguous visualization or representation of any algorithms, workflows, or analytical models that includes but not limited to, and so forth and so on there. But to take a look at that, and then again, this standard is something we strive to adhere to also. Are we adhering 100% to it? We're close, and there's always elements that we can do better, and just as there's ways that you as an agency trying to adhere to NFPA 1710, you're always striving to adhere to that standard, right? And likewise for us, we're always working towards improvement. Another standard to consider, going the wrong way here, is NFPA 951, the Guide to Building and Utilizing Digital Information. Take a peek at this one, and I just pulled a table out of it to show you how everything integrates, right? So you've got situational awareness when you're on the scene, field operations, planning and analysis, and then over there on the right, data management, which is part of this square, this cube, so to speak, for the information systems framework. And a key element that we contribute, of course, is really all four sides, but a lot of what's going to be in emergency reporting is going to be on the far right, data management, and then also things on the bottom, pre-incident planning, standards of cover, risk and hazard assessment, field operations, data collection. So we're interwoven in this 951 standard all over the place. Please take a look at these two standards as you want to move and enhance your data management within your organization. And again, we could spend a whole session on either one of these standards, but I just wanted to introduce them to you. And if you go to the NFPA website, you can view them right now for free and start looking at how you can make your department better when it comes to data management. Last one I want to mention is, again, this calls out specifically fire service training records and reports, or reports and records. And so Chapter 4 talks about exactly what we do well when it comes to managing your training records. Now, this is a specific part of your day-to-day management of your agency, but NFPA has a standard that specifically cites how you manage your training records, and our training module does a particularly good job with adhering to this standard. I'm going to pause for a second, make sure I don't have any questions. Bob, thanks for posting that. Detailed member activity and firematic reports, excellent. That was in response to the type of reports that you're looking for to enhance your data management within your organization. So thanks for answering that earlier, Bob. Okay, this is from Brittany. So I wanted to share, she's been our reports product owner and scrum master. So during her tenure over the past couple months, we've had 22 new NMSIS 3 reports. So those of you that use our EPCR, the big ask has been, we got to have the reports we've had for NMSIS 2, we have to have those same reports for NMSIS 3 because it was built with different code, and so NMSIS 2 reports, they don't work with the NMSIS 3 data. And so we've got that up to date, and that concluded and deployed last week. We have 2 COVID-19 reports in the system that allow you to pull data from the NFP, or the not NFPA, the NFA special study on COVID-19 responses. We've had numerous custom reports from our customers that they've asked for and continue to work on a few of those. And then the RMP, that stands for roles and permissions. Those of you in our system that use our system and our administrators know that in the last year or so, we have a new roles and permissions security feature in the administration module that is much different than what we had when I started using emergency reporting. And we didn't have a report that pulled data from it. Now we do. There's 2 really great reports. So if you want to see who has what role, what levels of permissions, you can do that very quickly as opposed to having to go into the administration module to extract it and try and navigate through the grid there. So please check those out, and then fixed 107 bugs and 43 modifications to existing reports. So a lot of work's been going on there, and we're going to look at some of those. So what's the latest from ER? I'm going to show you. The reports, BI, you just got a little taste of what we're cooking up, and then we'll do some questions and answers and wrap this up. Before we press on into the system, does anyone have any questions for me? All right. Todd, I'll get you those report numbers. I'm going to go look at I'm going to go show you those right now. So let's start first with reports. Great question, Todd, thanks. So Todd asked, what are the report numbers for roles and permissions? And I'm going to show you that here momentarily. So the first part of today's presentation is going to the reports module. All right, first step is we're going to run report 779. What this report is the master list of all our reports. And it's broken down in the PDF by module. But what I do is this. I do a text download, which is a CSV download. Let's go ahead and open that up. All right. And then what I like to do, I can organize these and filter them and so forth. But what I want to show you, so you have a little insight as to what all this stuff means. I'm going to kill those first 3 rows. I am going to sort and filter. And we're going to sort by column 2. And we're going to go largest to smallest. Okay, so what I want to show you here, we'll make it bigger, so stand by. I know that's really small. Okay, so what I did was column is the module, column A, column B is the report number, column C is the title of the report, and then column D is the pathway to get to it. But what I want you to focus in on is this. These are the report numbers. The higher the number, in case you didn't know, the higher the number, the newer the report. That's the only correlation with the number. It's our tracking, it's our way of tracking these reports. So the higher the number, the newer the report. And so these later reports, if you scroll down, you can see in the 1700s, and now we're into the 1800s. There are actually about 700, now over 700 system reports. We've retired some of the ones that have been obsolete, and so that's why the number's a lot higher. There's not 1,800 current reports in the system. But to answer Todd's question, report number 1814 and 1812 are your reports for roles and permissions. So Todd, that should help you out there. But I just wanted to show you a lot of these you'll see are NMSIS 3. And so when you're searching for a report, especially for NMSIS 3, use 2 keywords, NMSIS, okay, and that's going to include NMSIS 2. You can type in NMSIS 3 or N3, and again, that's just kind of directing you to the NMSIS related reports. 1812 was the other one, Todd, to answer your question, 1812. Okay, and then of course you can navigate through any of these to find the various reports. Now, of those 700 reports, you're going to use quite a few of them, but make sure you find one that you like. For example, 553 is a very popular report. If you like it, add it to your favorites, because then what you can do is, instead of trying to type in to search for it, you can just go to your favorites and it will be listed here. So take advantage of that. And then the last section here, popular reports. So if you look at these reports, we run this on a recurring basis, and in our system, we run a query against the database to see what the top 20 most popular, most run reports are in our system. And so you can kind of see what all of our users are running, the most popular reports. And so maybe one of these will work really well for you. Okay. So what's coming here? All right. So what I'm excited to say is that we've got a report coming for those of you that go for your assistance to firefighter grants from FEMA. We're working on a report that's going to make that job significantly easier, I'm excited to say. And so that's going to be one of the biggest reports that's coming down the pike. And they just continue to add more based on enhances to existing reports, as well as requests from our customers. So if there's something you're needing, now's the time to type it in so I can make sure it gets to Brittany and her team. Any questions on reports? And again, it's more of a little look into the system, a look at what it has to offer for you, and then understanding how we organize our reports by number. Take advantage of 779, take it out into Excel and sort it as you see fit, filter it as you see fit. So if I just want to see all the reports for the incidents module, I can do that. So now I've just, and that had this module has the most reports. And so you can see all the reports pertaining to incidents, or maybe I'm more interested in seeing I'm responsible for my fleet and equipment, you can see there's not as many, but there's still some fantastic reports for the maintenance module. It's organized this way too within the respective modules. And I recommend too that if you're in these modules, so for example, maintenance, occupancy, training, and hydrants all have this. So when you go into, say, the maintenance module, there's a button up at the top called reports. Click on that, and we've got them organized by category. And if you use Control F and you're looking for, say I want to run a report on fuel, I can see I've got this one report, fuel usage for vehicle number for apparatus for date range. Now, since most of you are all tech savvy, you know Control F on a Windows machine or Command F on a Mac will find you a keyword on any web page. And so I typed in fuel, and now I know report 1753 is going to show me fuel consumption for any given apparatus. So take advantage of those tricks. Jason, yes, 779 will give you a master list of all of the reports in the system. These will continue. So despite the need for data visualization and business intelligence, this is still going to be a core part of our system, and we're going to continue to update and improve them. And so, emergency reporting is basically our last name, right? Yeah, it's our last name. So we've got to be able to report. And so this is one way we do it. Now, the other way we do it is in the analytics module. You bet, Jason. You're welcome. All right, so in the analytics module, there's 3 components. There's response, safety, and BI basic. Okay, now these are all visualizations of your data. I'm going to wrap this up with BI basic, but in the response analytics, there's a couple tricks you need to know. This works really, really well. You can go in and drill down by incident. All right, and while I'm doing that, give me a second, guys. I'm going to log into another account that they've given me permission to do, and we are going to go in and take a peek at some real world data. So we've got some really great customers down in Orange County, Florida, and they've allowed us to show some of their data. Of course, as long as we don't show any HIPAA or anything like that, we're good to go, and we never do. All right, so let's take a look at that. It might be much more interesting for you to see their response data. And so they have a lot of calls. Now, this is just looking at fire incidents, okay? And so I can drill down by month, day of the month, and hour. One of the nuances that I need you to know about this right now, and here's why. Under compliance settings, for NFPA 1710 or any custom setting that you create, because you don't have to stay with 8 minutes 90% of the time if your standards of cover are different. One of the tricks I teach everybody is change this to 1. The reason I do this is because it's going to look for 4 people per company. The coding needs to be updated to not include like chief's vehicles, ambulances, where you're never going to have 4 people on it, so it's going to show red. For your times, just put in 1, apply that, it'll update accordingly, all right? And then as I go in, it's going to show the incidents on this list. So let me back out, and we'll give it a chance to load. And those incidents will show as either compliant or non-compliant based on times only. Now, if you want to look at the total number of people on the scene, okay, you can take this out into Excel and do a check to that column to make sure that it matches the number of people you need on scene. Is it one extra step? Yes, it is, but people don't realize that this is still a very powerful tool in our system to help you comply. And this is not loading, and it's only because of demo demons here, and I'm trying to show something and it won't show. So let's go back real quick. This is what should show, and then it will show you your compliance. So take a peek and see how you can make use of it, and keep in mind you can filter it by numerous filters. So if I just want to look at a zone or a response mode, I can do that, or any combination thereof, and then you can download this entire data into a CSV file to work with if you need to. All right, quick look at response. Now, safety analytics, this is a 10 gauge, really 11 if you count the compound gauge here, power pump panel that pulls data from all across the system to let you know how well you're doing against NFPA 1500. Everybody has the organization gauge. This is to make sure you have the correct documents in your library, and the wellness and behavior to ensure people understand your wellness and behavior policies. And so again, if you haven't taken advantage or looked into this, all of you have at least this gauge and the organization gauge. If you've upgraded to full safety analytics, you have all of this. And they're all wonderful, but I'm a really big fan of the PPE gauge and helping you manage your ensembles on a per person basis. And we've got numerous articles as well as YouTube videos that explain the safety analytics. All right, now to close, I want to show you this and explain what's coming here in BI Basic. So right now with BI Basic, there's 5 what in BI is called reports. So these are dynamic reports as opposed to the reports in our reports module, which are what we consider 2D reports or static reports. Still incredibly valuable, but this is more dynamic and visual. All right, and again, I'm going to go back to a live account so you can see their data and look at it in a more meaningful way than mock data in our system. So when we look at incident volume here, you've got the ability to view your incident counts, station, shift, category, and incident series. You can also slice this data to just show, let's say we want to see just C shift, just station 30, and we're concerned primarily about EMS calls only, and you'll see it filters down. Station 30 was not a good station to pick, so let's change that. Let's go to station 40. And we'll let it refresh. Oh, I know why, because they're using this instead. There we go. Okay, so stage, that's better. So they had some legacy shifts in there. Okay, and so now I want to see just their structure fire calls. And so here we are. All right, they've had 8 on C shift. And if I want to go deeper, I can look at the details, and here's those 8 calls with the units. That's example 1, and then all this data can be downloaded as well. All right, and we have a couple great sessions on our YouTube channel that goes over business intelligence more in depth. All right, so I know we're just past the bottom of the hour. I want to show you a couple more things, and then we'll open it up for questions. And I'll tell you what's coming here too. So I can tell you on this part, the percentile report, we're working on some enhancements here. Those of you that want to check your percentiles, whether you're going for accreditation or not, we're working on some enhancements here, especially on the extraction and the sorting of the data. And so here under response type, I'm going to turn it to turnout time, and we're going to give them a 1 minute, 30-second turnout time compliance. And we want it 90% of the time. And so just looking at station 40, for those 8 incidents, they met their turnout time for every single fire call. But let's slice it down to all incidents. And we'll let it redraw that. And you're gonna see this go from 8 incidents to about 2,500 or 3,200. There you go. So be patient on this page too. There's a lot of data crunching going on in the background, and so we expect a load here of less than a minute. And so now you can see these are all 3,200 incidents, and then we want to turn that off, and you can see from a turnout time perspective where they're strong and where there's some, we had a couple of months where they didn't quite meet the 90%. They were 88.7. And so more's coming here. This is our BI Basic. We're going to be releasing a BI Pro and a BI Enterprise that will have more tools. And part of our vision is to have full-on ad hoc reporting for those of you that just need to mine your data. And I'm excited to see how that's going to play out, and excited to teach people how to use it once it comes out. Don't forget too that you're going to have these other components here on BI Basic to look at in your account, especially if you're using the occupancy module. You have the ability to look at your occupancy data set as well as your inspections. And this particular agency, they've got like 20,000, 30,000 occupancies and a lot. And so you can see how it organizes it by type, by location, on a map, when it was last inspected. And don't forget, it's easy to look at, wow, look at all this stuff on here, but don't forget to scroll to the bottom because that's where you have other reports. And so now we can look at inspections, and you can see they're focused on their pre-incident planning, who's done them and when. And you can even go down how long it took them, and total time estimated, total time spent. So there's a lot of data that can be mined here and visualized. And remember, if you need to play further with the data now, don't forget to go to details. And here you can actually go in, do filtering. Zoom back out. And you're able to go in and filter. And I'm in Safari right now and it's giving me fits. Of course it is. And so you're able to filter. Let's go back out so I can show you the filtering capabilities. And then we'll wrap it up for today. Okay, so here I can drill down. Oh, Safari, you're good there. Yeah, I can go into focus mode. I can go to the next level in the hierarchy with one click. I can turn on the drill down. So when I click here, it takes me into the 100 series. Go back up. And then I'm also able to export this data or show as a table. And that's the functionality back on the details as well. Safari is just giving me some fits today on the formatting in Chrome. All right, everybody. So this wraps up our fourth episode of our 20 for 20 summer boot camp. We're going to go on a little bit of a hiatus for a little bit and then probably resume some of these educational webinars in the fall. Does anyone have any questions for me or anything else that you want to mention as far as your needs in the system? Okay, Bill asked, excellent question. Bill asked, can the analytics tools be tied to any data sources outside ER? So through our API, Bill, yes, a lot of this data can be tied to other software that is able to take advantage of our other software vendors that are able to take advantage of our API. And we have many partners that do just that, whether it's a scheduling software, whether it's a data analysis software. Yes, it can be tied. And sometimes it can be through the API itself or just simply taking a CSV of some of these reports. So let me show you one. So you may have heard of StatsFD. They don't even need to go into our API. They just take this report and we'll do for the month. And the customer will then pull this report into this text download, also known as a CSV download, and run that, import that into StatsFD. Now that's doing it through an export, but the API can also do this, a lot of this as well. It all depends on what that vendor wants to do as far as our API. And our API it's an open API. There is, because of the data being used, there are fees for service for all of that, but our interface team can give you the scoop on that, or your rep can give you the scoop on that. So in the BI, if you have different FDIDs for your agency, like I believe Todd does in Alaska, I don't know, and I'll have to go offline with you on that, Todd. I don't know off the top of my head if you're able to do different, select a different FDID. I don't think BI permits that, but let's take a peek. So the ask was, can I, if my account, and most of you just have a single FDID, but if you're an agency that has multiple FDIDs within a single emergency reporting account, the ask was, can I slice it down by FDID? I cannot. I can do it by apparatus, but not by FDID. But ping me on that, Todd, shoot me an email, and I'll communicate that to the BI team that there's a need to be able to filter this by FDID for those that have multiple FDIDs in their account. And then Bob asks, request to provide a seminar on apparatus checks. For example, how to build a robust SCBA pack checklist. Yeah, that's a good one. And Bob, please look, we have some of that information available to you now, both if you're a customer, both in our Customer Success Center and on our YouTube channel. Just look at, do a search for either maintenance module, okay, or rig checks. And you'll be able to see some of the techniques used for doing that now, but then certainly we'll take that under advisement for a future educational webinar session. What else you guys got for me? All right. Well, like I said, we want to keep them shorter, sweeter, and stronger. We hope we did that today. We hope we satisfied some of the questions that you all have had. And this was a huge report, so that they have so many incidents. So what we're going to do is we'll run it for just yesterday. And so I just wanted to show you again, going back to a question on that Bill had, ways to extract the data and use it in other software. And so you can see this is not one you're going to want to use as a PDF, but when you do it as a text download and then import it into another platform, it can be done and done very easily. And that was the intent of this particular report. All right, there's a lot of good things to come, everybody. Please keep up, especially since, and if you're here, it tells me that you're engaged with us, you're engaged with the product. We post all of the system updates here in our system notifications. So even if you wanted to go back and review, so we'll have one come out here pretty soon, updating what's been done to the system. But if you click here, it will take you to our Customer Success Center. It will prompt you to log in because it is on a different platform, but we're working on single sign-on for that. And you can see the changes made to the system. And if you don't want to log in, just keep an eye out here. On our marketing site, click on the blog. So a couple clicks, and you're going to see some of the latest updates from our Update ER newsletter. And it's going to summarize not every single point, all the fixes and such, but some of the high level things that are going to be helpful to you on a day-to-day basis. So we do our best to be transparent. We do our best to communicate with you all. It takes a couple clicks to find everything, but you know, if you, again, when you go to this page, you'll be able to subscribe to our newsletter and stay on top of everything going on with emergency reporting. All right, everybody, thank you. Stay safe. Appreciate your time again today, and reach out if you have any questions. And those of you that are customers, thanks for being part of the emergency reporting family. And those of you who are thinking of coming to another RMS, we would love to bring you into the fold. We think we've got a fantastic product, and even on top of the product, we've got excellent customer service and support we think is a substantial differentiator in this industry. So we look forward to working with you in the future. All right, take care, everyone. Have a good Thursday and a good upcoming weekend.